Let's kick off a new week. It's November 6th on the Fun Astrology Podcast. Hi, Thomas Miller. Thank you so much for stopping in. We're going to tackle quite a bit this week. We have a chart that is in shifting motion right now. We're going to scramble this thing up by the end of the week. Quite a few sign changes ahead of us this week. A couple of just general observations about the chart right now that you are probably feeling. One is that we have so many aspects. It's like everything is aspected to another, and there are more challenging aspects in the chart than positive ones right now. We have a few trines and sextiles, but we have a lot of squares, oppositions, and quincunxes. 5 of those suckers now. And I thought, as I was looking at this, a couple of things I want to do. One is, you know what we do here is we give you bite-sized astrology for today and tomorrow kind of thing. That's how we started this, and that's how we do, and that's our sweet spot, because I know a lot of things talk about weekly and longer-term things, even monthly. But to me, I don't know how you are, but when somebody starts talking astrology and it just goes on and on, how can you remember Monday afternoon, much less Friday? So here again, if I were to start talking about all of these aspects one by one, you'd spit your coffee. And the other thing I'm wanting to do here is catch things a couple of days in advance. I know we talk about things on the day that they are exact, and of course that's the peak. But we really need to be anticipating these, and I want to get to where we are anticipating them more. And I'm going to bring the parallel and contraparallel into this more too. We talked about what that is last week. I don't know that we'll even get there today because there is so much else, but those are kind of some of the general directional things. But boy, if you're feeling these pulls right now, it is significant. And we have 5 quincunxes, and I'll tell you, I had to turn all the aspects off on my chart, except quincunxes and sextiles, to see that there were 2 Yods in this chart. And Neptune is involved in both, so let's start there. First of all, in one Yod, it is the peak planet. Now remember, the Yod is also called the witch's hat. That's because it has 2 long sides going up to a point. We should be quite familiar with that, having just experienced Halloween last week, right? So Neptune is at the top, and then the moon and the south node of the moon are at the base. See, this is that karmic energy when I go over and read the headlines of things that are going on. Oi. And then the other one also involves the moon. So these both are going to be moving out even through the day today. But the other one has the moon at the peak, Neptune on one side of the base, Pluto on the other. The other big project that I'm working on is the Merriman 2024 forecast book, and this is something you guys are going to want to have. And I'm hoping that we can get an interview with Ray. I'm sure we probably can, and we'll talk about this. But he talks about all the outer planets moving between now and 2026, even on into 2028. It is the most comprehensive look at astrologically how the mundane is shaping up. And, you know, we don't spend a lot of time on that here, but when we look at a double Yod like this in today's chart, we have to stop and pause and reflect and think. The moon being involved in both, Neptune being involved in both, and then the karma of Pluto and the south node. You really can't mention the south node without mentioning the north node. They are a pair, and that means the war symbolism of the north node in Aries, and it's been in all those wars that we've talked about on here in the past. Then when you throw all those aspects back into the chart, then you realize, okay, one thing that needs to happen here: self-love, self-care. We talked about this last night on Level Up. Don't get all caught up in the minutia of the news. You say, well, Thomas, why are you bringing it up? I'm bringing it up for the very specific purpose that you are going to be bombarded by it if you let yourself open. So set parameters. How many conversations are you going to have with friends and family who want to amplify and discuss this? Coworkers, reading the news, sitting on social media, absorbing what everybody else is saying about all this going on. Lynn Schaefer, who many of you know from our Facebook group and also the beautifulmindcoach.com, sent me something over the weekend that was so relevant to this. It was one of those messages from Spirit, but it had exactly a perfect game plan. We made it the theme of Level Up last night. And that is, basically, yes, the shift is happening. Don't get caught up in the collective. Don't get caught up in the drama. And the thing that I really appreciated, and was a great message to me, because if you know my background, you know that I came up with a mom who basically tried to pick apart every jot and tittle and move and zig and zag of Bible prophecy 30, 40, 50 years ago. Well, this message said, don't predict. The reason is predictions are based on past correlations. This happened in the past, this is setting up in the future, therefore this is the likely outcome. And what this was saying is, all of that's being scrambled now. Can't you feel the truth of that? It's like, yeah, of course. Why would I correlate something today on something in the past? Everything's changed over the last couple of years anyway. Why is it not going to continue to change? Well, it is, and the sky is reflecting that to us. So even though these Yods, and we're not going to get much further than these Yods today, but these Yods are telling us that there is this spiritual shift. The moon shifting every 2.5 days. Neptune, the spiritual battle. Pluto in the south node, the karma. These are quick ones, but they do have a message for us. All right, real quick, we have a long void of course today as well. It started at 2:25 this morning Eastern Time, and the moon does not leave Leo for Virgo until 2:39 p.m. By the way, Kristen has the new lunar calendar out on the funastrology.com website. I know a lot of you have been interested in that, so if you'd like to go download the next lunar calendar, it's available. So a long void of course through the day today, and then at 9:40 this morning, Venus trines Pluto. This is a big one. It deserves more than we have time for. And then this evening, Mercury trines Neptune. We could talk another 15 minutes just on that. And the fact that Pluto and Neptune are tied in this long eternal sextile throws even more connection between them on this. 2 trigger planets, one in Earth, Virgo, and one in watery fire. I almost said fire. Scorpio, it's fire. It's ruled by Mars. Anyway, I know. But Mercury and Scorpio. And the south node is in a long trine to Saturn, which is sitting almost at the midpoint between Pluto and Neptune. See, now your head's spinning. Let's pick it apart. The melt-up that's going on in the market right now could continue, Venus, or it was doing it ahead of this aspect today, Venus and Pluto. That's positive for the markets. Why was the market going up when we're sitting on the precipice of all of this tension in the Middle East? Let's just say the shadow side of Neptune. We'll leave it at that. And that trine between Mercury and Neptune, the interpretation for the mundane is completely different than for you and me. For you and me, it's about conforming our mind and our soul, our spirit, together as one. If the monkey mind, Mercury, is saying da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, tune into the spirit. Tune into your intuition. Follow the moon as it leaves Leo and enters Virgo today. Feel as well as think. And talk to both sides of yourself. Hey, monkey mind. Hey, Mercury mind. Let's let intuition have the floor. Hey, intuition, you know what's best for us. You're talking about yourself as a whole. Please show me. Show me gently, but show me obviously. Make it clear, please. And it's a trine, so both sides should be willing to work with each other. Hope that helps. I don't feel like we did that enough justice, but at least there are no direct aspects tomorrow, so we'll continue picking that apart, and we'll set up the rest of the week. Have a wonderful Monday. Thanks for listening. Sorry it went so long. A lot going on. See you back tomorrow. I love you.